Welcome. I'm Bernice Ross, the CEO and President of BrokerageUpandRealEstateCoach.com.
And my name is Greg McDaniel, the co-host and co-founder of the wildly successful and popular podcast, Real Estate Uncensored. But today, Bernice and I are Real Estate Coach Uncensored.
We have a fantastic show for you today. It's called Zooming Ahead on Zoom. And we have two experts with us, Annette Anthony, who's the Vice President of Technology Engagement for Exit Realty, and Dena Jones, who's the Director of Strategic Partnerships and Assistant Vice President for Fidelity Title. She's based in Phoenix, the hotbed of the iBuyer activity in the country. So she's going to be talking a little bit about some changes in that area. Annette, let's start with you.
You know, Annette, in our pre-show, we were doing some really interesting discussions, and something that you brought up that I think is fantastically interesting that a lot of people overlook, and is the power of Zoom in today's day and age. We're all sitting at home for the most part, and you brought up an idea of how to get the sellers to tell the story about the house. So lead me down that path and unpack that a little bit for me so the viewers can understand what that means.
Absolutely. You know, Zoom is such a great opportunity where you can invite the homeowner as a co-host, right? They can participate in a Zoom meeting right from their mobile device. As a co-host, they can share their screen, which is an opportunity for them to take the camera and just walk you through, what does it feel like to live in that neighborhood? Tell me about, the celebrations that you've had. Tell me about some of the best restaurants nearby. When it's your anniversary, where do you go to celebrate? Do you have a dog? Where do you go for some activity with other dogs in your neighborhood? That is one of the most compelling ways to invite potential buyers to look at your virtual open house, if you will, but through the emotion of your seller. Like you said, Greg, there was no marketing piece that's going to convey. There's no emoji that's going to convey what it feels like to live in this neighborhood. You want buyers to say, you know what, I can already feel what it's going to be like for me to live there in that community with those neighbors, with those restaurants, with those farmers markets. It's the best way. You know, I look at it as when you have a real estate agent who's actually taking you through the home, it's through a different lens, right? Where they're selling the property. Now, everybody loves to buy, but they don't like to be what, Greg?
Sold.
Right? But a homeowner describing their feeling about the home, it's gold. And it's one of the biggest opportunities for agents to leverage with Zoom. Have your seller talk about how much they love their home and why.
And as you bring up such a valid point, because there's nothing that's going to be able to convey in a flyer the feeling of walking across that threshold as a newly wedded couple in their first property, bringing their first child home from the hospital, having those birthday parties, having Phil and Carol down the street bring their homemade pies every 4th of July, having the barbecue or the wine nights when everybody gets together on the street or the cul-de-sac, or the kids are all playing on hot summer days in the front yards with the garden hoses, or any of those emotional stories. You want to bring your home to life, give it a character, give it a name, give it a feeling, give these people so they go, I really resonate with that. Like, I could get down with that kind of living. Like, I like me some good barbecue ribs. All right.
And tell me about the barbecue, right? How many people were on the patio? That really gives you the perspective of how many guests can they really, entertain in their backyard. It's one of the best ways to show. And I can tell you this, that prior to COVID-19, I would doubt that many homeowners would say, I'm not really comfortable to do this. But now we're forced in a situation where this is the way to showcase your home in the best way so that buyers say, I want it. And you have a bidding war and your home gets sold.
Annette, you had 3 other suggestions for us. What was number 2?
I would say doing a buyer seminar, Bernice, is one of the best ways, because obviously there are locations where they have restrictions of how many people you can bring into a space, but you can do a buyer seminar via Zoom. Grab your industry advisors, right? You've got your lender, your appraiser, your title, your home warranty. You've got your people who are going to be the subject matter experts. Bring them into a virtual virtual environment where they get to share their screen and talk about statistics and share forms. Having a home buyer seminar through Zoom is a great way. But what you can do to take it a step further is you can create a registration, right? So that people can register on your for your Zoom meeting. Registration is one of the most important things, not just have a meeting where anybody can join in. You want to collect as much data about these humans, right, who are engaging with you. These aren't just potential transactions. These are relationships that you want to accelerate. You can collect first name, last name, email, mailing address, phone number, as much data as you want. But what you can also do is ask questions, which I believe is such a great opportunity where you can ask them, is this your first time buying a home? You're going to find that there's people that have never purchased before. So knowing that in advance will prepare you as a speaker, as a presenter, as an information provider, information for that audience. Or maybe they've bought and sold before, but it's been a long time. Or they're military, right? There's all kinds of opportunities to get to know your consumer. Are they working with an agent? Have they consulted with a lender? What are they looking? What's their time frame? So you can know this in advance through Zoom, through registration. Now, when you actually have the meeting, let's say you've got people register.
And let me get you to pause for a second there, because where are you collecting this data? Is this in the Zoom platform itself, or is it on a landing page? So they can do all this inside of Zoom. Is that correct?
Correct. Zoom will enable you to create a registration page where you're collecting information about the person you're inviting to attend the Zoom meeting, but you can also ask them questions so that you can get to know who's your audience before you actually present.
I have never heard anybody, this is a data mining opportunity here that you could never get another way. This is a fantastic tip that I've never heard anybody give anyone before.
Registration is key, Bernice. And not only inside of Zoom in your dashboard, you can actually export your list of attendees. And then you can take that list, put it into your newsletter, put it into, whatever type of CRM system you're using so that your moment with them lingers, right? That's really important. But so let's say you do the meeting, everything was great, but you actually had some attendees who registered but didn't make it. Now here's an opportunity to shine where most agents miss, and that is to go back to those individuals, because you'll see on your Excel spreadsheet pulled from Zoom who attended, how long did they attend, and who did not, so that you can go back to the list of people who did not attend, Bernice, and say, hey, we had a great event. We noticed you didn't make it. Life happens, whether they have a sick child at home, they don't feel well themselves, or they had another commitment. But when you go back and you say, you know what, we noticed, even though this is virtual, how crazy is that? We noticed you didn't attend, and we hope everything's okay. We recorded the session, and I want to send it to you. Call me back, right? And let me know how I can get this to you. Trust me, they will call you back and say, you know what? And they'll tell you the reason why they didn't attend. But the impression that you will leave the most impactful is that you cared enough to notice that they didn't make it. And you're following up to let them know that you're providing the information. And that speaks volumes, because when you're invited and you don't show up and nobody follows up, it just, how insignificant will someone feel? But when you go back and follow up to say, hey, we noticed, even though it was virtual, hope you're okay. That will definitely leave an impact.
Annette, how about one more tip?
Okay, Bernice. So my one final tip that I would say, when you have a scheduled Zoom meeting with a potential seller, what I would recommend that you do is just send them a video, a pre-meeting video. You can use things like BombBomb. I love BombBomb. Been using it for years. Just to let them know with a video, hey, I'm looking forward to seeing you, Bernice. We've got our scheduled Zoom meeting for tomorrow. We're going to start at this time. I've got some things that I want to cover with you. And let them know, hey, if you've got questions, bring your questions with you. Showing your expression in a pre-video email, letting them know that you're excited to get together with them and discuss, their real estate needs, you will have less likely of a chance that they're going to miss your meeting. And the reason is because they see your expression. You're excited. There is no app There is no piece of technology that will ever replace you as a human. So when you're excited about something, they're going to be more apt to commit and join you in your meeting. So do a pre-event meeting and share your excitement. If you want them to get excited, you got to get excited.
Dena, I love some of the ideas that we had in the in our prep session for this, for today's show. And I'm just looking at a couple things that are on your screen. You've got your company up in the upper left-hand corner, where that's the first place they'll look. And then if you look down the lower left-hand corner, stand out, Fidelity's marketing princess, Dena.
Well, I was pretty excited when people taught me how to change my name. So yeah, I could be whatever I want to be. At any point in the meeting, I could change it now and I could be Bernice.
You're going to have to grow blonde hair, girlfriend.
This is true. And one of the things I love about the backgrounds is you can really make your meetings ultra personal. And you can make it about the people that you're meeting with, and you can make them feel like they're physically with you, or that you've connected with them in a really powerful way that usually surprises people.
Well, one of the things that you talked about is what you're seeing in terms of some of the trends where you're at in Phoenix, and then what you're getting. You've been soliciting feedback from the teams and from the agents that you work with. You had some really great ideas. So let's start with some of the trends that you're seeing, because Phoenix has been kind of the, ground zero for iBuyers, and things have shifted there. What's happened with that? And then how are agents responding now, and how does that tie into Zoom?
Sure. So, we've kind of said for years, if people can't come to Phoenix as an iBuyer and figure it out and make it happen, then they probably can't do it anywhere in the country. So as an added benefit, we've had a lot of them here in our market. A huge percentage of our transactions over the last several years have been, with iBuyers. And although we have definitely seen a drop this year, we saw an uptick from May to June. So we've definitely got several of them that are back. And what's interesting in our market too is that although the iBuyer transactions have gone down, the new home sales are continuing to go up. And I find that very interesting. What I've had several clients do is, as far as it relates to Zoom, is taking their iBuyer listing consultations onto Zoom and really helping their sellers and potential sellers evaluate what options they have. Today, in most iBuyers' target price range in our market, they're receiving 20 or more offers within the first few days of a listing going on the market, and helping really be that analyst to explain to a seller via Zoom what options they have has really enhanced a lot of that opportunity for agents here. And it's also helped save time. Going through all of those offers is it definitely takes time, and it's definitely been a time saver.
Dena, I love what you just talked about in terms of being a time saver in terms of the seller. But Greg, you had a slightly different take on that.
Yeah, I think a lot of times with the whole pandemic and everything that's going on, people are starting to value their time more. They're spending more time with their cold dish, their cat, their dog, their kids, their spouse, their significant others, their clients. But the thing that I really love the most about this is that instead of running out there, sitting down and meeting with someone and then coming back to the office and analyzing what just took place, you can have a pre-meeting meeting to understand exactly what their wants, needs, and desires are, to see if they're the right client for you and you're the right agent for them, because that match definitely does have to take place. Not everyone's going to be right for you. You're not going to be right for everybody else. And I love the fact that you can save so much time, just probably 25 minutes on average, just driving out there, and then 25 minutes on the way back, plus 25 minutes in the house. That's a lot of your valuable time that you can do on a Zoom meeting. And Dena, you're seeing that with your clients, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. One of the biggest benefits that several of, my clients have shared with me is that today with the Zoom environment, they have the ability to create really focused, intentional, quality conversations and build rapport really quickly, which then leads to them establishing trust at a level that is way different than anything before, and generating more referral business. Now, instead of making a call and trying to set set up an in-person meeting where you've got a barrier of entry to a potential seller that's a little bit more difficult, especially in today's environment, they're going right to schedule that Zoom consultation where they can evaluate what the needs are of that potential client. And they can also make them feel comfortable because they're doing this from the privacy of their own home, and they're protecting their time, which shows so much respect. And the agents, are definitely seeing the feedback on helping them establish trust in an environment where the client can feel safer is a total home run. They can see their body language. They can see how they're responding to the conversation, and they can pivot accordingly.
Dena, something just popped in my brain, and I do this to Bernice all the time, but my mind's is more working overtime on this. So with here in California, it's almost nearly impossible to show a property with a homeowner in it, or you have to sign the P doc every single time you're going to be coming in. It becomes very laborious. You said partnering, or I think maybe Annette, that was you, but it was partnering with your seller, right? So let's say I had a client like this recently. She's pregnant with a 1-year-old, and so they don't want anybody in that house, right? Understandably. So it's conceivable that instead of having showings, you have digital showings. You partner with your seller. You say, hey, download this app, put it on your phone. I'm not going to make you move out of your house, but I'm going to ask you to interact with these sellers or these buyers and this other agent on a Zoom call, walk them through the house and show them the different aspects of it, give them the lay of the land. Now, that just popped in my brain. I'm sure that way smarter people than I have already done that. Have you guys heard of that yet?
Absolutely. We have seen that on both the new home side and the traditional side. I actually have been coming across some interesting tours lately too, where they're having the pets run through the house, and they're showing the home as they're following the pet down the stairway and through the kitchen, and definitely creating a little bit more engagement. I think one of the biggest benefits to Zoom is the authenticity. Right? And the humanity, like Annette spoke a little bit about that, the humanity of just being able to see who people really are and what the lifestyle is really like in that home, and how people can experience it, and how do you live in it, and what do you love about it is incredible.
It'd be funny, strapping a GoPro to a toddler and watching what a toddler does all day throughout the house. Just to see it from a child's perspective.
There's a nugget.
That would be hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, chest harness, just
Dena, one of the things that you do for your clients is you've been creating some marketing pieces that employ Zoom and explain what you've been doing in terms of new homes and marketing some of the new products that are out there.
Sure. So we've been doing new home virtual showcases where we feature 3 different new home subdivisions via Zoom, and it goes Facebook Live once a month. And we really walk people through the different product offerings. And it's been a really great resource for the real estate community to get education on, what's out there without having to physically go and visit the communities. And they can get a feel for that. And then their clients are able to really walk through what's the lifestyle like, what is it gonna feel like when that community center is built, and what amenities are there. And that's definitely been getting a lot of traction. Another kind of fun thing that we've been doing is when we do those, we pretend like we're actually at the subdivision. So the last one we did in June, I was in a super garage. Because how cool is that? You don't always see super garages. And one of the floor plans featured this amazing super garage. And then we have the Ritz-Carlton coming to Paradise Valley. And I was able to put myself right in the lobby as they were walking us through the construction and the progress of what's happening in Paradise Valley. So I think it definitely leads to, a lot more fun and interaction and people feeling connected.
You could take this to a whole nother level as well. You can do this for local parks, local museums. You could take it and walk through, local restaurants. And I love how you have the branding of your branding is right there. It's subtle, but it's there and it's consistent. And you could literally be like, you go through the pet store, like you're showing here. there's just endless possibilities of what you could do to show people what they have to offer in different communities and developments without ever having to leave the comfort of your home on those hot days in Arizona.
Dena, you've got to talk about virtual yappy hour. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we've had, we've been doing this with our clients, and we've had several clients that are doing different ways to connect with their sphere and engage with their clients in virtual ways. And, everything from yappy hours where it's bring your dog, let's connect, and have a beverage of choice, to happy hours. I've got one client right now that's planning a virtual bingo event, and several that have done virtual yogas, and all kinds of other different ways where they can bring their folks together and create value for them, and also give them a safe platform to create connection in a time where everybody's starving for connection because it's not the way things were before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, going to my supermarket is my new going out. And so I hear you on the whole virtual, like, getting together, and I see a lot of other agents are getting together doing happy hours, or I have a bunch of my buddies that I've known for 20, almost 30 years at this point, and that dates me horribly, but we all get together and we have a couple of beers. We're all over the country. How's life? How are the kids? What's new? How's the wife? Yada yada. There is that level of satisfaction of scratching that itch of being around another human being. And I think that's incredibly powerful. I think, in my humble opinion, ladies, you guys are all very intelligent and got wonderful, beautiful minds. In your opinion, what would be something that someone hasn't talked about yet that people could do on a digital arena that, would be something fun and different? Annette, what's one for you? I saw you nodding your head.
Yeah, so I believe what would be very different is to do kind of like a speed dating, but it's not dating, but it's about speed networking, where you invite your clients, who, by the way, aren't they entrepreneurs too? They're business owners, right? They are executives. There are so many different, maybe they're a barista. There's so many great people that you can tap into in your database, that when you get them all together, and you can see all the boxes, and you say, all right, now let's go around the room and talk a little bit about, you have 2 minutes. Who are you? Where are you located? Tell us a little bit about your business, right? And how do people connect with you? I believe that would be game changer for your database, because not only are we doing this and our agents are doing this so that they can connect with their buyers and sellers, but there's a tremendous opportunity for our own sphere of influence to put them in the light and show them, listen, I'm using tools that you could be benefiting from. And they're watching us intently and they're learning. And if we could show an entrepreneur in our database how they can be more connected with their clients, even though it has nothing to do with buying or selling real estate, you win, my friend, every time. So I would do a speed networking, invite local businesses, but more importantly, your database. That's just an excuse to get together with your database anyway.
What about doing this live on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, really publicize this and give them a voice, and then everyone put $5 behind this thing, boost it for the next, 30 days with $1,000 behind it. I mean, the eyeballs and visibility for all the different businesses for $5. Are you kidding me? I mean, come on, man.
And
Can't beat that.
Press releases, right? To just show we're talking about connecting with the community. It could be an event as big as you want it to be, and you can post it on social on different platforms, one different platform each week. You can vlog about it. You can blog about it. You could do all kinds of things and encourage that the different businesses do the same and just cross-pollinate. It's a good thing. You
can rip the audio out of it and turn it into a podcast. I mean,
absolutely.
I mean, the possibilities on that one use of content
can
be shredded and put out to everywhere, and everybody benefits. There's zero losers in that environment.
Absolutely.
So, final takeaways for today, Dena.
So I think I will add on to that idea with the concept of taking the clients that maybe you have worked with in the past, or your sphere, or wherever your folks are coming from, and maybe featuring their businesses and talking about how people can support their business and whatever that looks like. We did a campaign when this first started about supporting local businesses, and it was interviews with local business owners who wanted to spread the word about their business and share about how things have changed and how consumers could still go shopping there, or eat at that, or get takeout, or, you know, the mobile pet groomer, the, you know, the barbers that were, you know, doing all kinds of different things for, you know, for cutting your pet's hair mobily and all of that kind of stuff. So I think, you know, supporting businesses that your clients, you know, who are entrepreneurs, exactly as you've stated, Annette, and highlighting that this is the environment to do that. And what they're going to say afterwards is, oh my gosh, that real estate agent did something nobody's done for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Annette, final word to you.
You know, technology is leveraged to accelerate relationship building. Don't be afraid to tap into technology. Surround yourself with people who support you. You know, leverage what they're doing to be successful in business. There's no reason to rewrite history. You know, that when you go back and you just reach out to your sphere of what people are doing, you know, your real estate sphere. I love, you know, people supporting each other and learning from each other. It's when you stop learning, you become stagnant. So my last takeaway is, yeah, this could be scary and new and different, but you know, you were meant to shine. Do something that makes you scared every single day, and you're going to overcome it. And guess what? You'll live, and you'll be better for it. And when you can teach someone else this, it just elevates the entire industry. So learn, share what you've learned, and don't stop.
Annette and Dena, fantastic show. Thank you for being with us today. Please join us next week. Thanks all.